Hi, welcome to this video tutorial of how to set up your Qashier POS terminal with the Wi-Fi printer. So in this setup, you will need three things. Firstly, you will need a black Wi-Fi printer from Qashier. You will need a POS terminal, either the Qashier X1 or the Qashier XL. Last but not least, you will need either a laptop, a phone, or a tablet. Right, so these three things. Okay, first things first, if you have more than one printer to set up, we recommend that you actually keep everything, all the printers off, and do the setup one by one, which means you only on one printer at one time. Okay, so the very first step, make sure that your printer is plugged in, the power is plugged in, it's switched on properly. You can see a blue light at the front. Of course, the power switch is on the left hand side of the printer as well. Right, so make sure it's plugged in, it's on. Of course, make sure that you also actually put in a receipt row. Okay, so that's step one. Okay. Second step, on the Qashier POS terminal. Okay, so in this part of the video, I will actually share my screen, so you might not be able to see me, but I will just guide you through step by step of what to do on your POS terminal as well as your laptop or your phone. Alright, so very quickly, from the POS terminal, what you need to do is go to settings on the top right hand corner, go to Wi-Fi. Make sure that your POS terminal is connected to your Wi-Fi. Right? So you might see more than one Wi-Fi network, especially if you have both the 2.4G as well as the 5G networks. So we recommend you to connect to your normal, which is your normal 2.4G network. The difference you can see from here is that usually a 5G network will have underscore 5G in its name. Right? So we recommend you to just connect to the normal 2.4G network. After it's connected, you can go back, go to settings and go to edit POS, key in your terminal pin, and from here you should see a printer setting button at the bottom. Right, so if you don't see this, do let us know, either via Qashier HQ, the support, or you can speak to your account managers as well. So click into printer setting, and on this page we can just leave this here for the moment, right? And then next is to go to your laptop or your phone, right? So I'm going to use my laptop. Go to your Wi-Fi network from your laptop. You can see in the Wi-Fi networks there is a Wi-Fi name starting with E250, right? That is actually the Wi-Fi of your printer. Select it and connect to it. It takes about maybe 5 seconds. After it's connected, you open a browser. You can open it from your phone or your laptop. In the address, key in 10.10.100.254. Okay, so you key in this address 10.10.100.254 into the browser address. Hit enter. And if it prompts you for your username and password, right? The username is admin, ADMIN, admin. The password is also admin, all small letters. Okay, so after you come to this page, of course you can also toggle the language at the top as well. Go to STA setting. Under network name, you can press scan and scan for your current Wi-Fi network. Again, you should connect it to your normal 2.4G network without the 5G in its name. Okay, after you press OK, you will prompt that the password is empty. You will need to enter your Wi-Fi password here. Okay, next, this obtain an IP address automatically, change it to disable, and then you should be able to see the next 4 fields, right? So this part is a little bit more tricky, but we will guide you through it. So what you need to do for this IP address, okay, firstly, refer back to your POS. At the top of your POS, you should actually see a current IP, right? So, and you can see that the current IP is organized into 4 sets of numbers, right? So we have 192.168.50 and 85, okay? So what you need to do is to copy the first 3 sets of numbers into the IP address here. Okay, so you copy 192.168.50. Okay, Okay, the first 3 sets, right? So it might not look like 50, this to you, right? It really depends on your own Wi-Fi network and router. For some, the number here might be 1, for some it might be 10, for some it might be 100, for example, right? So copy whatever is shown on your POS terminal here, the first 3 sets of the numbers, and then the last 3 digits, enter it as 201. Okay, so the IP address, the first 3 sets will look exactly the same as what is shown on your POS. The last 3 digits, enter it as 201. Okay, then in the subnet mask, make sure that it's exactly the same here, 255.255.255.0. Okay, by default it should be like this, so do not change it. The gateway address, what you need to do, again, key in the first 3 sets of numbers exactly the same as your POS terminal. So it's 192.168.50, and then the last digit you put it as 1. Okay, and then DNS server address, again, make sure that you don't change it. By default it should be 10.10.100.254. Okay, after it's all configured properly, press save, and then it will prompt you to actually restart the printer, right? Press restart. So what you do at this point after you've restarted is to restart the printer itself as well. Okay, so on the power button at the left hand side, turn the printer off and then on again. Wait about 10 seconds, and the printer should actually print out a Wi-Fi configuration sheet, something that looks like this. So you should be able to see the Wi-Fi configuration. The IP address that you have input just now should also be displayed here. Okay, so this part is important. Do not throw this away because you will need this in the final step to connect your POS with the printer. Okay, so how you do that? Go back to your POS itself. You should see a configure IP address. Click on that and click on configure IP. Okay, select the printer to configure. If you have more than one printer, you should see printer 1, 2, and 3. Of course, we're going to configure printer 1 for now. And then what you need to do is to enter the IP address that was printed out from the printer just now, this IP address, into the POS terminal itself. Okay, so for us it's 192.168.50.201. Okay, press confirm. And you're done. That's all you need to configure your Wi-Fi printers. To test if it works, go out to the home page of the POS system. From these settings, there is a printer test. You can click on that and the printer should actually print out a testing sheet to show that it has been configured properly. Okay, so if you have more than one printer, what you need to do is just repeat all the steps that we have mentioned. In the Wi-Fi configuration under SDA settings, this IP address, if you are configuring your second printer, the last 3 digits you change it to 202 instead. So for the second printer, you change it to 202. If you have 3 printers, the third printer will be 203, and so on. If you have 4 printers, the fourth printer will then be 204. Right? So you just repeat all of the steps that we have mentioned. The only difference is changing this IP address for each of the printers that you have. So just to repeat, the first printer will be 201, second printer will be 202, third printer will be 203, and so on.